Good evening and welcome to episode 45 of the Recce Report.
Oh, good. You seem to have lost some sound there. Are you on, Cliff?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, welcome to episode 55 of the Recce Report.
Good evening, folks. My name is Cliff Purvis, former British Army Corporal.
And I'm Russ Denny, former British Army War Officer.
Russell,
this all works, mate, until we go live, and then it goes bad, isn't it? So, yeah.
Right.
Give us a thumbs up in the comments if you can hear and see us. Okay, folks. Thank you. We're fine. It's the operating system. It's the format we use. It's not us, honestly. We can spell IT. You seem to be hanging up a bit there, Cliff. You okay? So yeah, it's been another fun week in the world of Scottish politics and global politics in general. Cheers, Joe. So what's been happening, mate? What have you been picking up on in the news this week, Cliff? Oh, I can't hear you, buddy. I've lost you completely. So I'm gonna have to fill it a little bit. So I think the big story, first of all, our hearts go out to all those affected by the recent fire in Glasgow city centre. That's a horrific thing to have happened. I'm hoping everyone's okay, and the news about exactly what happened will come out, I'm assuming, in the next day or so. So yeah, stay safe, everyone. How are you doing, Cliff? You managed to get sound? No, you're on mute, mate. I can see you're on mute. Yeah, you need to press unmute, mate. It'll be down the bottom somewhere. This is the beauty of a live stream, folks. This is what happens. Cliff, you managed to mute yourself. If you go down the bottom of the screen, there should be a picture of a little microphone thing. Right, you've unmuted now. I still can't hear you. Awesome. So it looks like you're just going to hear me tonight, folks. That's fine. Cliff can participate by the virtue of mime. Okay. So okay, folks, help us out. Get in the comments. Let us know what you've been up to this week. What's piqued your attention? What has driven you to distraction? Cliff, you're on mute again, mate. I can see it. So I think another big story, obviously, is the news that Alba have announced that they are now going to deregister as a political party, which will mean they won't have any candidates in the upcoming Holyrood elections. Now I know they had some strong supporters. I know we've been quite critical of them in the past with regards to the level of support they were getting. But it is a shame. It is a shame when people have, regardless of whether you support all of the beliefs or not, when they put their heart and soul into something, and then it just doesn't come to fruition. So it is a great shame. I am hearing though that there was some members, and Cliff will keep me right here by nodding or shaking his head if that works, that were keen to keep it going. They were keen to maintain it and still put people up. I'm not sure that's going to happen, to be honest. And Cliff mentioned something, when he was able to speak before we came on. Will those senior members of Alba, will they now reattempt or attempt to rejoin the SNP as a party, or the Greens, wherever that may be? Or will, as someone else said, will they rebrand under a different name and come back in that guise? So certainly an interesting one. And obviously we've still got the whole debacle in Iran that's kicked off. With and interestingly, they've now removed the Shah Khamenei and replaced him with a completely different person who's called Khamenei and is his son. So yeah, that was just chef's kiss. That was obviously the best way to go about things, wasn't it? Was to get rid of someone, bring your son in. Do you want to, Cliff? Do you want to just dive out and try and come back in and see if that works? I'm just distracted by the faces you're making. That's all it is, mate. So yeah. So that's an interesting comment there from Wolf. Hopefully, some of those votes go to the SNP after all. Well, it's interesting because they had the whole kind of both votes SNP debate, or SNP 1, AN other 2. Is that going to work? And it may well play into the fact that maybe more votes will go to the Greens on the list vote, and they will have a better showing because I think they were polling at around 8% compared to the other party sort of 2-3%. I think one poll had them up at 4%. So that maybe that's the way ahead. But bear in mind, the one time the SNP did get an actual majority in the parliament was in 2011, when it was massively both votes for the SNP. And that works, but only if they win everything, only if everyone votes for them. And then you have to take and bear in mind that you still have human nature, whether that's going to happen or not. But we are now just under 2 months from the Scottish elections, so the campaigning will be starting to pick up a little bit. We'll be kicking off in the next 2 or 3 weeks, I would imagine. So here's my question to you guys out there. Are you going to vote, first of all? Hopefully the answer is yes. And number 2, what are you going to do to convince others to vote, to first register to vote and to come along and vote? Or is that something you need to do? Do you have family members who are a bit reticent or who are not quite convinced? We did put a call out on our Facebook page, inviting the unionist types, the people who supported the continuation of this glorious union of equals that we're in, to come along and to bring their best arguments. But as you can probably see from the fact that I am spinning a little bit here and trying to keep things going, that no one has turned up. They're not here to have an argument or to give us their point of view. I don't know what you're saying, Wolf. Whatever beef they had with the party, we're all desperate for independence. Split up into different parties by all means after we get out of the union.
How you doing, buddy?
Good. And I think that's a good point. With there's been a lot of, and we had this conversation earlier, and I think there are certain people who will only support it as long as it's their specific version of it. And I think sometimes when you have these breakaway parties, they kind of focus on the differences rather than what unites us. So you're right, it should have been a case of suck it up, vote for independence, and then first election after that, you vote for who you want, and people get to campaign for their particular.
Yeah, you're absolutely. Ross, can you hear me now?
I can, mate. I can.
You're absolutely right there.
I think he's trying to say, talk about making an entrance, but he's got so excited that his spelling's atrocious.
Right. Oh, right. Where are we? Yes, folks, I apologize. That was working fine as we were doing our rehearsals, and we do rehearse. And then it went horribly wrong. It could be Putin, it could be Farage. Hey, yeah. I have annoyed many people.
I'd also like to point out that Cliff's the man that holds the agenda and what we're going to talk about. So please let me know how you felt about my
improv.
About my improv, and to keep things going until it gets arse in gear.
Yeah, you're right. One guarantee of getting rid of the SNP is by voting for independence. History shows us that the party that fought for independence is always sidetracked on independence. So it's not a case of holding your nose and voting for the SNP, folks. It's a case of voting for independence. Now, where were we, Russ? What have you had a chat about? Come
on. I have no idea what I was talking about, mate. I mentioned Iran,
right?
And the fact that they've now killed the Shah,
yes,
of Iran, Khamenei, and gone in a completely different direction, and now his son's in charge.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, what a regime change that's been for Trump.
That's amazing, mate, isn't
it? If you want to see how messed up the Middle East is, just look at the borders. See how straight those lines are on their borders. Yeah. When the Turkish or the Ottoman Empire collapsed, at the end of World War I, the French and the Brits were in there with a little bit from America because of the oil. Went in there, and the Sykes-Picot Agreement, the lines in the sand, and they just drew straight lines. They didn't care about tribal issues. They didn't care about what religion or what version of a religion people were. They just drew straight lines to make life easier. And pretty much we've messed up the Middle East from 1917. That's when Jerusalem was liberated by the Brits.
Yeah, absolutely. And the whole part about Iran, mate, was that the 1979 Iranian Revolution was backed by, the Western powers, the CIA, and that, because the guy that had been in there since the 1950 something was planning to nationalize the oil.
Yeah.
And obviously the Westerners went, oh, we can't have that.
And he only got into power. Operation Ajax in the 50s was CIA Brit controlled because Iran, how dare they, elected democratically a socialist government. And the CIA and MI, whatever it is in the UK, decided they couldn't stomach that. So they did Operation Ajax, and that's when the Shah got into power. And now we're seeing this whole thing here. But all that's going to happen is if America does put boots on the ground, the Iranians will go asymmetrical. They'll keep flying. They'll put the EUDs in, the roadside bombs, ICBs. And you can have the biggest tank in the world. You're not going to go into a densely packed minefield with the thing. You're going to have boots on the ground clearing it, and they're going to become casualties.
Oh, you can learn your lesson, mate. You should have learned the lessons from Iraq and Afghanistan. Just because you've got superior firepower doesn't mean you're going to win.
No. I don't get me wrong. I have no sympathy or liking for the Iranian government. They are fundamentalists, and as I have said on the page on dozens of occasions, I do not like fundamentalists, whether they be religious or political. And if you mix the two, that's an incredibly dangerous cocktail. So I'm picking up and you're picking up on various different pages that we're operating on. Now I've lost the feed in, by the way, Russ. I can't get it on this means. So have we been joined as yet by any of the right wing?
No, I mentioned that. I mentioned we put a call out on our page to say come and bring your come and bring your best arguments. No, they've not shut up, mate.
Because that's the second month in the trot they've failed to show.
Yeah.
I'm beginning to think they're cowards.
Well,
Keyboard commandos.
They like to sit in their little echo chambers. Now, don't get me wrong. We have a standing policy on our Facebook page that bigotry and intolerance will not be accepted. Those people get hoofed. We do give people a chance. They come on if you want to engage in good faith, we will have that conversation.
Yeah.
But we don't care whether you're left, right, centrist, or whatever. If you come on and you are racist, xenophobic, homophobic, we're not debating with you. That's not a debate. That's not an opinion. We don't platform you. We're not using our platform for that. So you can sort off and find your own place.
Yes, absolutely. Most of them wouldn't be able to build a platform, for God's sake. I mean, I'm pretty poor at IT skills. I'm a bloody genius compared with most of those people. Jesus, they've really been annoying me, folks. If I start swearing tonight, it's because I am pissed off. Right? I am real.
Sorry, Mr. E pointing out there that religious fundamentalism is not a new phenomenon. The Crusades were pretty much for hundreds of years all over, the Holy Land, as it were. Yeah. But it wasn't. It was about the power and the control of the orthodoxy of the monarchy and the church.
Well, an interesting thing about the Crusade, I can't remember which number it was, but it was the one the English king was on. As they passed Constantinople at the time, they looted it. Yeah, that was the seat of Orthodox Christianity at the time.
Yeah.
Moved to Russia once Turks.
Well, there is a lot of people don't know that there's still two popes, isn't there?
Yeah.
There's still your man in the Vatican and is it the Coptic Christian Pope?
Yeah, down in Egypt.
Well?
Yeah, down in Egypt. Yeah. Oh yeah, the splinter group and all that. Yeah. So folks. It's been the Middle East has been going on for years. It was to control the religion, and then they found oil. Aleppo was one of the first places they found oil.
I know. That's what they say, mate. If the Jews really were, God's promised people, why did they let Moses turn left instead of right coming out of Egypt?
Exactly.
They would have had all the oil.
Yeah. Now the other thing was when the Brits, the French, and the Americans set up the oil company in Iraq. They did it as such that they showed the books to the then government of Iraq and said, "Look, we're making a loss, so we can't give you any money."
Well, that's pretty much the reason for the start of the First World War, mate. Was the Trans-Siberian pipeline, which was going to bypass the Suez Canal and everything. And they were like, "Oh, we can't have
that." Yeah, nothing changes. Nothing changes, buddy.
Don't forget the thing about we talk about the Second World War being a war for it was anti-fascism and it was a war for democracy. All of these are what we call post hoc justifications, because going into it, that's not why we went into it. We went into it because it was about resources and it was about control.
Yep.
Here's a question I asked, right? Most people will recognize that, will remember, or will acknowledge that Nazi Germany mobilized basically the biggest mechanized troop numbers in modern history. It was a mechanized army, planes, trains, automobiles. Right? Germany does not produce oil.
Yeah.
Where did the fuel come from to power the largest mobilized mechanized force in human history?
They had huge synthetic oil production. Once they got the Caucasus, they managed to get some refined oil, but to begin with, it was all synthetic, and that's a technology that's now disappeared.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. It'll be out there, mate. In fact, there's I read a book a while back, and I think it was Ben Ellen wrote the book. That's how old it was. But it was basically about a guy that discovers how to make fuel from water.
Right.
And effectively, he's then just number one on the hit list for every agency on the planet, because there's no way they can allow that formula to get out.
But that would be something the Greens would be very interested in. And talking of the Greens, they've had a marvellous result. I know it's
done in the Gorton and Denton by-election. That was
I'm well aware it's out with the boundaries of Scotland, but we're allowed to talk about these things.
Yeah, definitely.
Guess who got stuffed?
Yeah, I mean, watching Matt Goodwin effectively just lose his soul on live TV was
so worth it.
Was a joy to behold.
Yeah. Do Reform have souls?
Yeah. Sorry, our question about who provided oil, Mr. E said Ford and America. I think you're probably more on the mark with Ford than America. I think it was the oil companies rather than specific states that did it. But they would have had a hand in it. You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
They would have been getting it from. And don't forget, Russia and Germany had a non-aggression pact at the beginning.
Yes. Yeah.
They
both invaded Poland.
Yeah.
And we only went to war with one of them.
Well, that was it, and I think I know we're going back a bit, but the fact that Stalin thought that he could reason with Hitler, I don't know, Stalin wasn't exactly the most stable of individuals, but it just shows, if people are, if you think you can deal with erratic, bombastic, populist leaders, by giving in to them, it doesn't work, and we're finding it out now with Trump.
Yeah. Yeah, price of oil's gone north of $100 a barrel.
Yeah, but they still pay less than us.
Yeah,
it's a weird thing in America. It's a whole electioneering thing that the price of petrol is somehow so important to Americans that they will vote for and against politicians on behalf of it. Yeah. And yet we in this country, we just accept that Shell and Esso and are just ripping us off.
That's because we've not had a revolution lately, bud.
I was not, mate. I mean, they had the English Civil War, didn't they?
Yeah.
But we weren't really involved in that.
Well, we got our arses kicked
to a certain extent, but yeah, I think there's a tendency there to think that, that kind of England, Britain, British Empire did. The Industrial Revolution was pretty much the start of the British Empire, and that almost kind of domination by superior technology rather than anything else. Yeah.
Right. So let's play catch up. So the Green victory, well done to the Greens. You made every right-thinking person have a smile on their face for that. It must be hard work to fight through all that propaganda that was coming from the fascists, but well done. And
the funniest part for me, mate, was Reform saying that the radical Muslims had got together and voted against Reform, because if there's one thing radical Muslims are going to vote for, it's an eco-friendly blonde plumber in a party run by a gay Jew.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah,
famously.
Yeah,
famously the friends of radical Islam.
Yeah, can someone from Reform please think that one through and grab your leader and vice leader or whatever you call them, dear leader or whatever you label them as. Das Führer. Just try and educate them on that one. What else about Reform? There is something else that's winging about in my head about Reform. Oh yeah, they have got a new phrase, by the way. A taxi driver informed Farage that Shira courts were operating in London. A taxi driver offered the idiot we've got operating up here in Scotland that Glasgow and Edinburgh are not safe areas now. There's all this dissent, there's all this sectarianism, right? So the new phrase is, a taxi driver told them. That's something a 4-year-old child would come out with, for God's sake.
What's your evidence for that claim? Taxi driver told me, mate.
Yeah, it's freaking nonsense. And then offered coming out with, oh, by the way, I'm no longer against sectarian divided schools. Yeah, I wonder what organisation got a grip of them there on that one. Anybody want to guess? Grand Pumpkins and co. Yeah. Personally, I'm pissed off with sectarianism. This is not 1690. It's 2026. If you want to follow a religion, fine. Move it away and let us run our own damn country.
Yeah, definitely. The election was stolen. Now, where have we heard that before? Yeah, well, Farage is just a pound shop Trump. Let's be fair.
I don't think he's even as good as a pound shop Trump. He's a market stall Trump. Yeah.
And you don't have to look at Trump. He's just kicked out Kirsten Noem.
Yeah.
Sorry, reassigned her because she had the audacity to take the spotlight from him.
Yes.
And that's what Trump's like. You can't pander to him.
No.
It's like we learned this early on. If you pander to bullies, they're not going to stop bullying you.
No.
They've learned that it wins. It's the activity of a 4-year-old having a tantrum.
Yep.
If you give them the sweets, they're going to do it again next time.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah. So I'm very disappointed with the uber right, the fascists, the neo-Nazis, the troglodytes. I was expecting to have a bit of ding-dong with them tonight, but they're obviously, as I said earlier on, rip-roaring cowards, or they can't remember how to switch on the bloody computer. Yes, I know I had problems with my mic at the start, but I problem solved and sorted it out. It's not something I could say these guys, girls, or whatever they are, fucking dealing with. Sorry for swearing. No, I'm not sorry for swearing. I'm actually meaning to swear.
I said earlier, the funny thing was they had, a reformer down in Wales, and there was a guy in one of the pubs who was saying, it's disgraceful that you're down here wanting to represent Wales and you don't even speak Welsh. And I think he was serious. I don't think he was taking the piss. I think he was serious. But the irony was that reformers saying, that's disgraceful. The fact that you think that you can only be Welsh if you speak Welsh.
Yeah.
And my irony meter exploded, because these are the people that are saying that you can only be English if you speak English.
Yep.
And I'm like, it's the hypocrisy and the double standards that you get there.
Well, there's no standards, let's be honest.
Yeah. It is ridiculous.
But yeah, double speak. Yeah. Are you watching this time?
I am, mate. I am. We're in the last 120 seconds of the show.
Right.
Even though you decided to have a late start, mate.
Yes. Well, what do you expect from ex-infantry, for God's sake? Let you lot blaze a trail. I'll come in, get all the medals, get all the glory.
Yeah. It's so we've been a lot more active on social media. So you can see you've got the link, the address of our Facebook page down the bottom, but you can find us also on Instagram, vets.4 number 4 indie. You can find us on TikTok, vets for indie again. No dots this time. And we're on Blue Sky as well, which is, I think, Soldier Y. We are on Blue Sky.
Right.
So we're all there. It's much of the same stuff. We recycle it and go around. But yeah, please follow us on there. Follow us on all the social media. Share it. Push it out there. Rip off as much as you want. We don't care. Share it on your own pages. Claim it's yours. We don't give a shit.
Right. And if you do hear something from other pages that you think is about FA, drop us a line. PM us. Yeah. Put a private message into us. I've got no social life whatsoever. I'll do a bit of checking if it needs to be checked. A lot of the stuff you can dismiss out of hand yourselves, because we're all educated people. Yeah. But if you're wondering about if it is true or not, fire it over and we'll give you an honest answer back. Right? Like I said, we ain't going to be lying to people. we tend to tell the truth, and that's why the extremists, no matter what side they're on, tend to avoid us.
Yeah, definitely. We're here. We're a resource like anything else.
Yeah.
And if you think that
Don't
the
be
stuff
saying
we
that.
push
Trump
out,
will invade us.
yeah, a valuable resource, just not oil. Not yeah. Get on there. Gives you
Yeah.
ideas. Come on board. And if there's any veterans out there that want to take a more active role, even if that's just producing content or coming on board as an editor or contributor on the page, then give us a shout. We'll be more than willing to give you an interview.
Talking of other veterans families, those still serving, even if they want to. And I know the constraints on that one. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we have got a march for independence on the 28th of March. Can you PM the page, please, if you're going to be there? Because I'm going to be there. I'll have me shiny new badges. These things. Shiny new badges. We've also got a banner that needs carrying. I'm old and falling to bits.
We do need a new one.
We
do need a new one.
That one's okay.
So if you come along to the march, you can buy a badge off Cliff, and we can make some money and buy a new banner.
Yes. Yes, I can assure you, all the badges, the first run of badges we did, paid for the second run of badges we did.
Yeah, that's it, mate. So that's us. We're sadly at the end of our time for tonight. I want to thank you all for bearing with us at the beginning with our technical difficulties, for your very useful and welcome comments. Thank you so much. We will see you on the second Monday of next month. By which time Cliff may have sorted out his IT problems, but don't hold your breath. Final words, Cliff.
Yes, folks, we are entering into the last couple of laps before our election on May the 7th. Right, let's get our heads up. Let's start being buoyant about this one, because our future is so bright. Independence is right.